What's going on, everybody? As you know by now, news has broke that Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff did a little switch here. And I'm going to do my best to try to present information that maybe hasn't been presented yet, because I know you guys have heard this news 1,000 times at this point. So give me a few minutes. I'm going to plug in. I'll give you my ideas about this trade. We'll go over everything. Let's just talk for a second about what just happened, the implication this is going to have for the rest of the NFL, because I do think that we may be in for a very interesting offseason when it comes to musical chairs in the quarterback position, guys. So, all right, y'all, let's dive into this stuff. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this. Once again, guys, my name is Steven Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. Today's topic, guys, we're talking about the Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff trade. Hey, you never know what to expect with these things, but boy, the Rams gave a lot up to go get Matthew Stafford. And give me a second, and I don't get into some of the specifics about Stafford and why the Rams may have paid this kind of price when on paper you could make the argument that, yeah, Stafford's better, but it's not 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick between Jared Goff and Stafford-level talent. I disagree to an extent there, but I certainly understand the viewpoint because on paper they're not that far apart. But, I mean, it is what it is. Like, the evaluation from the Rams was that this guy's clearly going to take us to the promised land, because you don't pay this kind of price unless you really believe a player is putting you in the Super Bowl the following season. Like, it's entirely too high of a price to pay if you don't believe that. On the other hand, for the Lions, they have a new GM, and I'm pretty sure the Lion fans right now are quite tickled at this kind of value they just got here. I'm pretty sure they didn't expect to get 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and a starting quarterback who's young. So they they still got a quality player involved in this, all for Matthew Stafford. I mean, I don't think you can get a better return on investment than that. From Detroit's perspective, I think that if they set out and they had a checklist of like, okay, if we're going to deal Stafford, this is like the idealized dream scenario, I think their GM just nailed it. I think he just hit a home run, guys. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, I couldn't envision a better situation here for them personally. You know, getting a guy that can be considered a franchise quarterback in return. No, he's not Matthew Stafford. He's still pretty good. Getting 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. Like, yeah, that's an incredible return on value. But all right, guys, let me get into some of the specifics about Matthew Stafford and like some of the things he's done and why the Rams paid such a price to go get this guy. Because I got to tell you, looking back on it later, we might all be going like, whoa, that was a crazy good decision by the Rams because it led to Super Bowl victories. But we also know if they fall short of that, this is going to be a highly criticized, trade. There's no doubt about it. All right, to start off with who Matthew Stafford is as a player, right? Incredibly sound technique from the quarterback position, guys. Some of y'all that have been following me for a while, you know that, hey, man, I've coached many years at the quarterback position. It's definitely something I watch around the league. I watch every quarterback, and I can tell you that Stafford he's not without flaws, but Stafford's not like a Carson Wentz when it comes to his footwork and stuff like that. Carson's incredibly talented, just like Stafford's incredibly talented with the arm talent. The difference is that Stafford has very good pocket fundamentals, especially when you compare him to a guy like Carson Wentz, or you compare him to a Jared Allen, who's also very talented. It has a very elite arm. Here's what I will say about him. Look, 2008, first-team All-American at Georgia, right? I mean, this kid had many accolades coming out of college into the NFL. He was, number 1 overall pick in 2009 for Detroit. And in 2011, he became Comeback Player of the Year. And I believe it was in 2011, and he was like one of 4 quarterbacks for the first time that eclipsed that 5,000 passing yard mark. Like he was definitely one of those original group members to get over 5,000 yards. There was one season in particular, I don't remember when it was. maybe it was 2012 or so. I can't remember the exact season, guys, but he had like over 700 attempts, which set the NFL record. It was something crazy like that, guys. I mean, like Matthew Stafford he's got some interesting accolades when you really look at them. But the thing that I think is most important when you're analyzing Matthew Stafford is this. It's what he did when he got linked up with Jim Caldwell. That's when I think he kind of caught fire. And we saw that you put a good coach with a really good player, Caldwell and Manning, Caldwell and Stafford. I think Caldwell even maybe he had Luck. I can't even remember if he had Luck or Manning. It's been so long ago. He might have had them both at one point here. But I think it was Luck and Stafford. When you put the right coach with the right guy, you can catch fire, man. You can absolutely catch fire. And I think that's what the Rams are banking on here. 2014, Matthew Stafford becomes a Pro Bowler for the first time and only time in his career underneath Jim Caldwell. They win 10 games. I mean, come on, man. When's the last time we talked about Detroit winning double-digit games? That's how good of a job Jim Caldwell did there. He only had one losing season in Detroit. I don't know what they were thinking firing Jim Caldwell. That's why I'm so big on the Eagles bringing Caldwell in as a consultant here, because the guy's got value, man. 2015. In 2015, Matthew Stafford has this crazy run to where he had 60%. He had a 60% completion rate in every single game, 60% or higher. At the time, and it still might hold, guys, he was the only quarterback to have ever done that in every game. That's Jim Caldwell for you. That's what a good coach can do for a quarterback, right? 2016, he had 8 fourth quarter comebacks. He had the most fourth quarter comebacks in a season at that point. I don't know if it's been eclipsed, but at that point in time, in 2016, it was the mark. It was the record. I got to be honest with you, man. That's crazy good production, man. I can't knock him for being good. He was a good, talented player with Jim Caldwell. And I think that's what the Rams are banking on here, guys. They're banking on catching, fire again with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. You get where I'm going here, guys? They're banking on rebuilding that coaching relationship with, elite level quarterback play and hoping you catch fire, because if this guy can win 10 games in Detroit, what can he do in LA? I think that's what they're banking on. Now, I will warn them. I like the Rams wide receiver core. They don't have Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson can make a lot of deficiencies go away. So, there is that to consider, guys. But I certainly understand where they're going with it. But I want to get into how this could impact the rest of the trade market, the rest of the quarterback market in the NFL. The quarterback musical chairs, it's begun. Let's just be real, right? I've heard analysts say there's going to be 19 different changes at quarterback. I don't buy that. It's way too many. I will say this, there could be definitely more than 5. Some of these guys talking about there's going to be 15 or 16, get out of here. The question would be what happens with Dak Prescott? He's not a trade guy, but Detroit now just filled in. Los Angeles just filled in. They're not going to go after Dak after making these subsequent moves. So, now you're talking about, let's pay attention to who attempted to acquire Matthew Stafford and missed out, because now they could become prime suspects to really muddle things up for Dallas. You got Chicago was out there looking. What does that mean for Trubisky? Okay, Denver was out there looking. There's definitely spots out here. San Francisco. I heard San Francisco offered 2 second-rounders and 2 third-rounders for Matthew Stafford. So, there's definitely going to be teams that are going to be revealed now as into having interest in acquiring that player. What does San Francisco mean? If they were trying to pursue Stafford, what does that mean for Garoppolo? Clearly San Francisco wants to move on from Garoppolo. So that's another guy that gets added into this whole mix of craziness going on here. And I'm an Eagles fan. What the heck does this mean for Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts? I was almost to the point of really believing, really fooling myself into believing that, they might really intend going into camp with 2 guys, and then the loser gets dealt at the end of camp, because then you can June 1st designate the trade. If you're going to move a guy like Wentz, if you can June 1st designate that trade, It does a lot to make that dead money, manageable, because the dead money is really high on that contract. So was the dead money on Goff's. Goff's contract has some dead money on it too, guys. And they were able to move that contract. And now they're not in the same cap situation the Eagles were in, though. So let's just keep that in mind. But if you look at a guy like Deshaun Watson out there in Houston, what does this trade mean? Is this a blueprint now for Team C, what it took to get Stafford out there? I don't know that you're going to give Watson the same exact evaluation, but he's not that far off. So you've got an idea of what it's going to take. I mean, it defines things, right? You're sitting out there with Watson. How many more teams are going to get involved in these things? Is New England out there thinking about trying to find that franchise quarterback? And then the last thing I'll add to this, guys, look at the shakeup this could do to the draft. Detroit had the 7th pick. They're probably definitely not looking quarterback. I mean, Goff's only 26 years old, guys. He's still under contract for a few years. They probably just resolved their quarterback, scenario for a few years now. They're probably looking playmaker at 7 now. If you look at what this could do for the young guys, this many quarterbacks in the NFL on the move, it's hard to say, because some of these teams that are desperate, quarterback needy teams are going to be making evaluations if they're up at the top of the draft board, right? We all know Jacksonville's not going to be involved in this stuff. They're going quarterback, right? But you have to look at the rest of the league. The Jets had this huge decision with Sam Darnold and being up high in the draft, and what do you do here? It's going to really shake up the league, guys. That's what I'm getting at. Long story short here, guys. There's a shakeup coming to this league as a result of this. And it's going to get real interesting between Dak and Trubisky and Garoppolo and Wentz and Hurts and Watson and some of these guys that could absolutely, everyone's kind of up in the air on what's going to happen. I don't know, guys. We'll try to follow this, and I'll try to track it for you as it comes down. I'll give you my thoughts on each moves here. But, yeah, man, that's what I got for y'all. Leave your comments down below. What did you guys think about this move? What do you think it means for guys like Watson? What do you think it means for the potential of someone like Wentz being dealt? I'm not saying Wentz is going to get dealt, guys, but I'm saying that you got to consider the potential of it, seeing the return on investment of other guys. Wentz and Watson are not going to get the Stafford-type return. I can tell you that. But they're going to get something. And it's very likely both of these guys would probably return a first-round pick now. They're not going to get multiple first in a second. I can tell you that, plus a Jared Goff-type player. But they're going to get value. That's for sure for those type of players. All right, y'all. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you on the next video.